Evening, everyone. Evening, Angus. How are you?
Even Luke, I am well, good.
Welcome, welcome to Basement Quality Banter, Episode 8. And are you having a drink this evening?
I am. I'm gonna take a risk and pour one of my Belgian triples live on air.
Oh, nice. Oh,
This could
look at
go.
that.
Could go anyway. Okay. Cool.
So this is your own home brew.
Yeah, one of my own triples. Probably. I think this one will be about 2 years old now.
Oh, nice clarity. Big, thick head. Looks nice and
Yeah,
tight.
if
Yeah, no, looks good.
it's not climbing out of the glass, is it really a Belgian?
Exactly. I'm having the brand new Heads of Noosa ginger beer. And I
Ah, nice one.
cracked that with my thirsty merchant bar blade. And
Was that from the Beer Awards?
no,
The opener?
no, oh, the
No, the opener.
couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I've no idea where mine is now.
I think they sponsored. They sponsor it often. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
handy having a bar blade around. Oh, so this is made with Budrum ginger, as it would be from that neck of the woods. Oh, it smells great. Yeah, it tastes like a real ginger beer. There's a bit of funk. There's a bit of spice. Nice ginger. Not overly sweet. 4%. Um, I can see that being really refreshing on a hot summer day. Yeah, they should hopefully enter that into the ginger beer category next year for the Royal Queensland because yeah, it's obviously brewed, so it's probably yeah, that's really nice. I like that. It's
You
not.
judged that category, didn't you?
I did for the first. It was
Yeah.
for the first year. Yeah, I was panel chair when we judged that, and it was really difficult because the parameters were quite broad. Um, but it was really exciting judging a new category, and the discussions that we had were really lively and passionate, and we got a heap of feedback and notes that how we can build the category moving forward, and I think it's a really interesting category. Ether ended up winning the trophy for ginger beard, but yeah, there's so many ginger beers on the market that really, and I've said it many times before. If it's not brewed, I don't really think it should be called ginger beer. I think we need some classification around it, not just uh, ginger and ethanol and carbonate it like everyone does.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really want to see brewed ginger mothers, and this one they even say on the bottle to roll it because there's a bit of sediment, so it's proper ginger. But there's a lot out there that aren't, and um, yeah, I would love some classification around ginger beer in Australia. It would be really good. How's your triple?
Good. I think it's only a year old. I think I did this is the one I did last year. It's good. It's got that little slight bubblegum to it that I like on the
Yeah,
aroma.
all
So
grain.
it's pretty, yeah, all
Yeah,
grain, yeah. So it's pretty clean aroma.
mm, pretty good, even if you say so yourself.
It's not my best one, but it's pretty good.
What sort of ABV are you looking at from your gravity?
That one's about 9, I think, so probably top end of a triple.
That's fairly
Yeah.
decent. Yeah.
I'm,
So
I'm stupid like that.
just what? Oh yeah, the bigger the better. So just one
Yeah.
of those for the school night.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Alrighty. I'll get on to our list. So we actually had some fan feedback from YouTube. We are talking about the Glen Ennis Celtic Festival and the one that you recently attended, and I was sure that that festival was running when I was growing up in Armidale, but apparently, according to Tania, our number one fan, She said it used to be called Land of the Beardies Festival.
Oh,
I know there's Beardy Waters there and all that, so there's obviously been there something before. It was officially the Celtic Festival.
yeah. Well, that makes sense why I never heard of it before. Like, probably like 6, 7 years ago or something. I think that's when it officially started as the Celtic Festival, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's better. I think it's a better name than Land of the Beardies. That seems a bit odd. A quick stats
bit
update.
exclusive.
Yeah, definitely. Quick stats update. Our Facebook group's got 102 members, 120 YouTube plays, Spotify impressions of 307. Apple Podcasts, I've changed this from a mental health podcast to an entertainment podcast. I don't know if that's uh, uh, jumping the gun a bit, but hopefully that'll be good. Next up,
I
I
don't know
have,
if we're not
yeah.
qualified to provide any mental health support. I don't think.
Oh no, hell no.
No.
Unless we're a distraction, perhaps. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know why it was ticked as that. I think it got classified automatically to start with, so I dug in and changed what we actually are. So yeah, the bit of news that just came
Well, probably
through.
would have been 110 members if you hadn't have bad-mouthed Laos last time.
I do apologize. I didn't badmouth. I just don't know enough about Laos. Um, it was a good beer. I'm happy for my Laotian experience, um, and I'm quite happy to learn more about Laos so I can comment further. But yes, I'm sure we're on the do not listen list in Laos. A bit of alliteration there.
Oh,
So next up in the news, we had Mountain Culture buys Fox Friday out of administration. That includes the Hobart, Melbourne, and Perth sites. The Perth site was the former Blaster site. It also includes Carwyn Cellars, the Moona Hotel and Cellars, and this is on top of their recent acquisition of the Redfern site that they took over from Good Drinks, Gage Roads, which was their Atomic site, and their Wildflower site collaboration. I'm stoked for them. I'm just really worried that they might have spread themselves too thin. Their beers are still top quality. I hope it all plays out. It'd be really keen to see what they ended up paying for the whole Fox Friday, considering the absolute shitstorm that was. Yeah, what do you think of that?
I don't imagine the price will ever get out. It's normally one of the things that is not released. That's pretty. On one hand, it's a pretty massive get. Like Carwyn Cellars is pretty massive in Melbourne, and there's quite a few other sites there as well
Mm.
where you getting your beers on tap in primary spot because you own the joint. And does that would that then play into the tax scales and not wholesaling outside, but would it be still classified as your own taps? So there's a difference in tax, isn't there, between selling beers off on premise versus packaging
There's a different rate
and
of
so on.
tax, but the 350,000 excise rebate is only for one business. So unless they're classified as separate businesses, I I think they probably will only get away with that once. I'd say that the Emu Plains and if it's included in the same business, um, the Katoomba sites, they're probably over that threshold anyway of that
Yeah.
excise. So, but the question is, do they continue the Fox Friday brand? Um, yeah, a lot of the team I know from Fox Friday and Carwyn had already been let go. Do they try and grab some of them back, or yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how it goes. Like when I was in Melbourne for the Abers, I went to Carwyn because I honestly thought that it might be the end of Carwyn. Um, so if they can keep that going, that'll be great. Plus all the other sites, the Redfern Wildflower collab, I just think that gives them a really big footprint now with um, what's that? One, two, three, four, five, six brew kits, seven brew kits.
Yeah.
So I don't know
So
if they
that's
get rid of some of the brew kits and just use EMU planes. I don't know if that's at capacity. I know they've keep building and adding to EMU planes, but there's only so much the centrifuge can handle with their hazies there. So, um,
I mean, does that mean they have to keep seven brewers on for the seven kits, or
well, you'd have to have
one of the
seven.
brewers
You'd have to have
travels
seven.
around the joint? Like,
It'd have to be
yeah,
more than seven brewers. It'd have to be seven
of
teams.
seven teams, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got your cellar people. You've got morning and afternoon shifts. It's really quite interesting. I'm really happy for DJ and Harriet and the whole team. Even Pat Cummins, I guess he might have jumped in at the right time. Um, yeah, it'll be cool to see. They still make some really cool beers. Um, yeah, I guess we'll just watch this space. I guess.
Yeah, I don't recall having any Fox Friday beers, and I can't remember having any Mountain Culture beers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember if I've had any Mountain Cultures.
I had so DJ used to brew at Modus Operandi, and he was like former tenant that red IPA, and then he went out on his own.
Yeah.
Status Quo, of course, is it's a great hazy that goes around now. They call it a New England Pale, the Status Quo. Their Cult is their IPA, which is really good. But they're like Range. They nearly have weekly updates of different oak creams and big hazies that they do, like Range do. But there's also been some really good ones. Was it their 10th birthday? I bought the Barley Davidson. It was a barley wine with a Harley on the front. I just had to get that one,
Oh yeah.
which was
Yeah.
which was a cracker. They were really Sabro features a lot in a lot of their beers, and I used to really hate Sabro, but the way that they get that sort of coconut out of it and blend it with some fruit flavors in their hazies with some of the other hops they use is really clever. Um, Be Kind Rewind, because the Katoomba Brewery used to be a Civic Video, so when you used to get hire your VHS, your Be Kind Rewind, that's a really cracking good hazy with Sabro in it, which is a surprise. So um, predominantly they're the hazy leaders in the market in Australia, sort of doing what Range does, but on a bigger scale. Um, but yeah, and
And I think that's the problem that I've got because I'm not a big fan of hazies, and like Range, like all I ever see pushed out from Mountain Culture and Range is how latest hazy, and I'm like, nah,
yeah,
not interested.
and some of them are like $20 plus a can, and you're like, ouch, yeah.
Yeah.
But they do the sort of core range smaller stuff, and Fox Friday was the same. They had the sort of core range smaller stuff, and then they did a couple of bigger ones in the like 440 ml cans. I think they were. Um, I think I've had a couple. They don't ring out to me, but I think the ones I had were really good. So it'll be keen to see. I saw when I was at Carwin that they had fridge full of Fox Fridays there, so it'll be interesting to see if they keep that. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Next up is Wildflower. As we're speaking of them, they've got a Mildflower cask event coming up, and the thing that really interested me is they've managed to get some Tooheys Old put in casks for a hand pull on the day, and
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Tooheys Old. It's
Yeah.
always the brewers go to if you go to a small club and there's Tooheys Old on tap. It's a cracker of a beer, and they on the 22nd of May through for a couple of days. It's 9 casks from 6 breweries, but I'm really I wish I could try that Tooheys Old off the wood with a hand pull. I reckon it'd be great.
Yeah, whenever I go to a country pub, if there's two years old on tap, I don't even look at anything else. Like, yep, two years old. Yeah,
Yeah,
such a great Australian beer.
you know what you're getting, and it's got flavour, it's got body. Um, Hopefully, it sells enough that the lines are clean, and they wouldn't put it on tap unless it was popular. So um,
Yeah,
I think think even at Moree Leagues Club, I was there, and I had Tooheys Old on tap, and I was very happy. So yeah, it's always good.
Yeah,
Uh,
on that recent trip that
yeah,
Anna and I went on, we pulled in at the Walker Hotel for lunch.
yep,
And I was saying to Anna right there, I'm like, oh, I would love some lamb shanks. Anna, 2 years old.
yep,
I've walked in, 2 years old on tap, lamb shanks on the menu.
yep, yep.
Very happy.
Made in heaven. Barnaby Joice passed out in the corner.
Yeah, we walked past his I don't know, electorate office. Didn't see him though.
No, no, because he was passed out in the corner in the pub.
Down at the pub, yeah.
He's a bit of a loose unit, that one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he was post. What was he was posting some Matilda's soccer final at the Walker Hotel, and it turns out it was a replay from a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. Um,
Well done.
Gabs this Saturday. Unfortunately, I can no longer make it, and it's a sold out Saturday sesh and 90% sold out on the Friday sesh. So I think the $15 ticket has worked.
Yeah, did the trick.
I don't know if they were really worried. It's back up to $42 now, so it was only for that 72-hour period.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm keen to hear your report, and you've also got a list of drops that you want to try.
Yeah, I managed to narrow down the 120 beers down to, I don't know, probably about 10 or 12. Alphabetical order in no particular choice or list. Ether Brewing Breakfast Red IPA. So I'll bring up my web browser because it wasn't just a red IPA, it was something else.
I don't know what makes it a breakfast red IPA. I know they've done a breakfast stout before. Not that there's any excuse for not having a stout or a red IPA for breakfast.
Yeah, there we go. Festival beers. Ether Brewing. A delightful mix of ripe raspberry jam, Earl Grey tea, and a touch of toasted bread. So
Ooh.
there's your breakfast part.
So, Yeasty
Could
Boys.
go either way.
Yeasty Boys used to make an Earl Grey IPA that I loved.
Yeah, I did too.
It was Gunnamata or
Yeah,
Gunnamata,
that's it. Yeah.
and they also did Royal Tenenbaum, which was the double, and it was a bit too much of that. That is it. Bergamot. Bergamot's a flavour in Earl Grey.
Yeah.
But if you love Earl Grey, and Earl Grey and jam that and toast, that sounds like a beast. Sounds beautiful.
It's right on the edge of my too many adjuncts threshold, warning threshold. When it gets to like 4 or 5 special things added into the beer, I start getting worried, but I think that's worth a try.
Yeah, I think George and the team, yeah, they could brew something pretty special there. You'll have to let us know next week.
Badlands Brewery, The Gloaming. So that's
Mhm.
a Baltic porter.
Lovely.
That
One of those last.
7.2%. This sounds interesting. Dark malt flavors, fresh plums, bourbon barrel aged whiskey.
Ooh,
Sounds that sounds pretty interesting.
yep. Dad and Dave's was
Um,
next.
Dad and Dave's Brewing, which I don't think I've had any of their beers, but it's a great Australian brewery name. Dad and Dave.
Yeah, they got the two mugs on the cans. I've had a couple of their beers.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a brewed hard soda, which I guess is probably a bit different to most of the seltzers on the market. They're
Yeah,
saying it's
well,
actually
brewed.
brewed.
Yeah, so to be brewed, you can brew a seltzer like a beer and still have the four IBUs and then add your flavorings to it, and be classified as a beer. I think you just
Yeah,
have
it doesn't
to
mention
flavor.
it's a beer. It says it's a seltzer. So Dad and Dave's Brewing Crusher,
Yeah,
hard creaming soda.
that'd be interesting anyway.
Mm. Yeah, I hope it's not too sweet. I'm not a big fan of sweet drinks, and creaming soda traditionally is a bit too sweet for my liking.
You're sweet enough. It's all right, Angus.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Moving on. Dollar Bill Brewing Felonious and 8.6% Gruit,
Oh, I love what
which
they do.
I think Gruit's just an interesting beer to start with because I don't think I've had one.
It's a traditional old style sort of beer. I think the Gruit, isn't it? Uh,
Yeah, it was around before they started adding hops to beer, so
yeah.
um,
Well,
a
a
lot
lot of
of
the
the additions were to do with trying to
get the bitterness.
perform the same function that hops do with preservations, and
I,
so
I
this
know
one,
my fifth great grandfather, uh, uh, James Squire, when he got busted brewing in the colonies, to get his 300 lashes, which ended up being 150 lashes plus some barrels of beer. There were no hops in Australia, so he was using Horehound, and that was his bittering,
oh
and
yeah,
they were using that. So I think that was probably more like a gruit than an actual beer at the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Selection of secret herbs, roots, and botanicals with sweet vanilla, licorice molasses, and caramel notes. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, everything they do is interesting, but yeah, that's yeah. Is it a big ABV?
Just a lazy 8.6.
Yep, nice, very cool.
That'll be a good beer to have about an hour and a half in.
It's a palate cleanser, that one, I reckon.
Green Gully Brewing. If you won't do what you tell me, a 5% saison farmhouse.
Yep, okay. I've never heard of Green Gully Brewing. That's very cool. Saison Farmhouse are those real funky beers. Sounds really cool.
Yeah, our festival take on ageless European style. It will buck the modern system with comments like, "This tastes really good considering it was made by a farmer and not a bored fat monk."
Okay,
Hy Hybrid, non-diastatic yeast with a little something from the farm.
okay. So
Just
spawn ferment maybe, spontaneous ferment
yeah,
yeast or something maybe. I don't know.
a little something from the farm.
Hmm.
That could be anything.
Could be anything.
Punters will be surprised.
Okay. Could be, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll have to have that one so I know what the surprise is.
Yeah. Scarborough Harbour next.
Scarborough, scroll, scroll, scroll. 7% black IPA because I can't go past black IPAs.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Bold West Coast IPA, dank and resinous hop profile with the dark coffee roasted notes of the malt.
I hope it's,
Right up my alley.
yeah. Sounds lovely.
Schlenkerla Helles Matzen Rush beer.
Oh, getting your smoke on.
I mean, I can't go past Schlenkerla. I saw that one. I'm like, well, that's on the list. I'll go get that.
It's great that they're part of the Aussie Gabs, to be honest.
Yeah, they've got a exhibitor's stall as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do they?
Yeah, I think they
Yeah, Schlenkerla, Dollar Bill, and Yi Henstefan. I looked up before how to pronounce that properly.
Vahin Stefan.
Yi Henstefan,
Yes.
or
Yes.
something along those lines.
Yeah.
Apologies to our German listeners.
Yeah. Nicht sehr gut. But again, happy that they're there as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty good get for Gabs. So them, Schlenkerla. Yeah.
Well,
Nice one.
they won biggest, was it the large international brewery at the Abers too?
Yeah, I was looking at that list just before, actually. Champion Large International Brewery.
Yeah.
And their full name is
Oh,
radically more unpronounceable than just the
Braushit,
Johanstefan.
Strasbauer, Browy, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Once
But
again, apologies to our
Foxy
German listeners.
Foxy did a great job of announcing it on the night. It is a mouthful, but yes, they are
Yeah.
the oldest brewery in the world since 1040, and Yeah, they make some cracking beer. So a Winterfest beer. So that'll be interesting. That must be a dark because they do fest beer for Oktoberfest, which is that real smashable heli sort of. Um,
Yeah.
so a Winterfest must be a darker beer.
Yeah, they said it's got a lighter touch of smoked malt.
Ooh, smoked malt. Nice.
Mm. What's next on the list? Strati Brewing, oak age, dark mild. Also can't go past a dark mild either. Saw that and I'm like, yep, that's me.
Yep.
And that's a 2.8%, so it could be a good beer, kind of like the third hour and just tame things back down again.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, that's
What's next?
cool.
Johann Stefan. What was theirs? So that was a fest beer, Marzen. So that was a traditional golden fest beer. No,
Okay.
no smoke malt or anything.
Yep.
I mean, you know what you're getting with from Jan Stefan. The beers are just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. I still can't go past
And
their pills and a Schweinhack, so I just love it.
yeah, yep, yep. Yeah, it's just an instinct to walk into the German club and go,
Yeah. Yeah.
stun pills
Actually,
and some
Schlosser Old.
knuckles.
If when they get Schlosser Old on tap at the German club, that's my go-to. But yes, sorry to interrupt you and Curly Lewis.
Curly Lewis. Oh, did I?
It's a big
I
buckler triple IPA is your closing beer apparently.
I'm out of alphabetical order. Why did I do that?
Just to be different.
Oh, because I wanted it last.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Curly Lewis Brewing Big Buckler Imperial Pale Ale. So 10.5%.
Yeah.
Big, bold, and extremely fresh with intensely rich resinous hops, a good amount of pine and subtle tropical fruit notes. So it sounds like a West Coast Imperial Pale Ale.
Yeah, it's gonna have to have a lot of hops to defend the malt bill that it needed to get to that percentage. I found
Yeah.
when Black Flag did Not Here to Fuck Spiders and what was their other one? Barely Legal, which is a terrible name. They were like 18%
It's not.
beers, and they were just malt. It was just all malt. I, they needed more hops to balance that massive malt hit. I think.
Yeah, that's the struggle with yeah, like double IPAs and triples. I remember years ago, my brother was living in Toowoomba. We went up to the Spotted Cow for their Oktoberfest,
Mm,
and I can't remember the guy's name who used to run the Spotted Cow, but Dunk, my brother, was really good mates with him, and so we were like just belting all these German, fest beers and Marzens and whatever. And he's like, "Do you guys like quad IPAs?" My brother's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's have it." And yeah, I remember this thing just being a malt monster, just so thick and sweet. Uh, Damaged us. I think he said it was like 13% or something stupid.
yeah,
Yeah. That's the
massive.
struggle with those big IPAs is how do you get enough hop expression to balance it out? And quite often
It's
it's
not.
impossible.
Yeah, and that's a problem. Sometimes they're so big they're not balanced. Unfortunately, sometimes you need to rein it back to that 8 or 9% to get those flavors right. Um, and we had some sad news this week with the passing of George Wendt. Of course, Norm from Cheers. This might
Yeah.
age me a bit, but uh, 11 seasons of his Barwise cracking, I loved. I used to watch it. It was like in the afternoons when I was on homesick, or I think they used to play it at like 4 in the afternoon for a while. I used to really like Cheers and that little spin-off show they did. What was it? Oh, Frasier. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
was
one, little
yeah,
tiny.
little one. I sort of like the dry humor, and before I was ever sitting at a bar, I sort of liked the to and fro of the wisecracking, and it actually put me onto Woody Harrelson and Ted Danson have their own podcast at the moment called where everyone knows your name, and they just sound like they did 40 years ago. It's yeah. Woody's great. Ted's a bit reserved on the podcast, but Woody, I think he probably has a few buds before he gets on. on.
Yeah, there's nothing reserved about him.
But it's a really good one. It's basically um, they haven't really seen each other except for once a year for the last 30 or 40 years, and now they're starting to know all because their careers went in different trajectories. They're just introducing their friends and people they've met in the industry to their to each other, and it's not a bad little podcast, sort of a similar to like a Smartless podcast. It's if you like Cheers, you probably like hearing them. But you should be
Well, yeah,
listening
I'll
to us first. You know.
put that on to listen, have a listen to that, just so I know what we should do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've got lots of guests waiting to come in. By that I mean none, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. Look, there's a lot of content out there, and I think depending if unless you've got a big commute or you walk the dog like I do, there's only so many hours in the day, so you probably pick your podcasts carefully. And for those who listen to our rubbish, I'm grateful, and not that we're making any money, but we just like sharing our stories and talking rubbish. And if you like us to continue, we will. And the last bit of news I had was the Monaco F1 this week. The Follow the Leader Grand Prix. Two compulsory pit stops this year, so could spice things up a bit. I really like the track because yes, it's the slowest track. Yes, there's no passing, but still the speeds that they do on some of those, like the second to last corner, is just crazy. And the spectacle and the yachts and the casino and all the super rich, all the F1 drivers pretty much live there because it's a tax haven. You don't pay personal income tax if you live in Monaco. So that's why so many of the rich live there. In saying that, it's $10 for a bottle of water, that sort of thing. So it's expensive to live there. But I like the whole spectacle of it. It's not the best for racing fans, and it's definitely, you get the pole, you've got a really good chance of taking the win. But yeah, you're not a fan of the track.
Oh, I just disparagingly called it the fashionista race. Yeah, you've got you know Tom Cruise or whoever's the latest celebrity Hollywood star to turn up and pretend they know something about racing cars.
Yeah,
It's all the off track nonsense.
I saw a photo today. Someone's parked up their yacht and put a $4 million McLaren Senna on the bow of the yacht, just to show off that they've got a $4 million one of 25. It's in the Marlboro colours and everything. This crazy McLaren. It's like the ultimate flex, I guess, but bit of a wank, I guess, too.
Well, I mean, that being said, if I had that money, I'd be doing the exact same thing. I'll be parking my $100 million super yacht up and parking my McLaren
What
up on the deck and
showing it off.
cracking beers on it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
scoff, but only because I can't do it.
yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a jealousy thing. We'd do the same thing if we could. And
Yeah,
and
absolutely is.
and on that truth bomb, I think I might finish us up for the week. Um,
Yeah, we'll be podcasting from Monaco next week.
yeah, you have a great time at Gabs. I expect detailed notes, so don't drink too much of those quadruple IPAs. Really keen to hear what you think and what the crowds are like and how many exhibitors are there. And it's been great having a chat.
Yep, cool. Thanks, Luke. I
Thanks,
shall see
Angus.
you next time.
Thanks, folks, and we'll see you next time.